Hi there, and welcome to Thursdays with Annette at 2 o'clock or whatever time it is in your part of the world. Today we're going to be making a guilt-free, fabulous homemade Christmas pudding. I'm super excited to show how you do this because you'll never want to buy one ever again because it's so fantastic. But before we get into this week's show, let's talk about last week because it was all about the party tips and how to survive leading up to Christmas. And I had some great feedback from everybody, and a lot of people were commenting as well about what recipes they'd been making out of the cookbooks, and I love that. Now, Lisa wrote, these are fabulous tips. I have forgotten some of these and perfect time for a reminder to survive the silly season. And it is a bit like that, isn't it? It can be a bit silly with what goes on in the lead up to the 25th of December. Dee thought the show was fabulous. Well, thank you, fabulous Dee, and with so many great ideas. And it's often the simple and silly, crazy ideas that work the best. She loved the one about sitting with your back to the table of the food, which I think is a great tip, and also cutting back on the days before or after. Thank you, Annette, for keeping it real. Now, Julie wrote, "Hi, Annette, I love your books, have used them for years. I even popped them in my suitcase when I came back to Australia for a holiday after moving to the UAE. So I love it. All over the world, people are cooking my recipes, so thank you, Julie. A special hello to a fabulous friend of mine, Carmel, who is recovering at home from an operation. I just wanted to say hi to you, Carmel, wish you a speedy recovery and sending lots of healthy hugs. So I think you might, you watch every week, so take care. Now, the winners of last week's show, they were so excited. Let's have a drum roll, please. What did they win? Well, they won a box of my fantastic, fabulous, awesome premium breakfast shakes. And the winners were Tanya Hooper, who has picked the vanilla. Jenny Young, who was super excited, has chosen the iced coffee. And Kim Casper, who says has never won anything ever. Well, you're a winner, chicken dinner. She's excited to be getting the creamy vanilla. So that was from last week's show, and it's, I wonder what's going to be happening with the giveaway this week. Now, before I get into it, I have to tell you, I really am loving Take 5 magazine right now because a couple of weeks ago they did a whole section of my guilt-free desserts, and this week's issue, I'm on the front cover. Hello, there I am. So what's it all about? Well, here we go. Through Take 5 magazine, we're doing a special promotion where you can download my Christmas Survival Guide ebook for free. I know, shut up, fabulous. It's worth $5.95, but till the 26th of December, all you have to do is go into, to redeem your coupon, you go to www.simplytoogod.com/take-5, and you can go in and win. So check out that in the magazine, fantastic. And lots and lots of great recipes and tips in that issue, so that's fantastic. Alrighty, so let's get started. Hello, we're cooking out of my fabulous book 2, and it's the Christmas pudding. Now, in book 2, you actually have a whole Christmas section. There you go. So, dust it off, get it out if you haven't been using book 2, and why not, because it's fabulous. But this is what we're going to be making today. So let's start cooking. All right, now, if you've been fearful of a pudding, stop. This is so easy. All I'm going to do is chuck all this stuff into the bowl and put it on the boil for 3.5 hours. That's all you have to do. But to start with, you need to break up your bread. And I'm going to do that, but while I'm doing that, I'm going to now go through the recipe with you, and I'm going to warm up the milk because that's a good start. All right, so what do we need? We need my rubbish bin. Thank you. I've got my utensils. You're going to have 3 egg whites, Floralite. I use the Tip Top 9 grain for this recipe, skim milk, banana, mixed spice, the apple sauce, Parisian essence, and I'll talk about that later, some mixed dried fruit. We've got some rum going in this pudding, cooking spray, bicarb, and plain flour. Not self-raising, but plain flour. Alrighty, so let's get a cup of milk going. I like to put this in the microwave first. I put it in my microwave for about a minute. So depending on how strong your oven is, microwave, let's just pop it in. There we go. So while that's heating, I started ahead because it takes a little bit of time to do the bread. But what you do is patiently get there, and especially the crust, because we include the crust, because didn't it used to be told, I think when you were a kid, that if you ate your crust you got curly hair? Well, because I had curly hair as a kid, my mum used to tell me it straightened your hair. Oh gosh, those wives' tales back in the day. Okay, so break it up just into little bits. Be patient, because this is the base to the pudding. It's a really, really moist Christmas pudding, so don't worry, you won't be getting a dry pud for Christmas. And it's out of book 2 in the Christmas section, and it has 2.1 grams of fat per slice. I know. It makes enough for 16 people, so it's going to cover you for the whole of Christmas. And I'm making it now mainly for my own need, because I can put this into the fridge now and keep it till Christmas. Now's the time to start thinking about Christmas pudding, which is why I wanted to do the show. Now, I just want to show you something, because if you have a noisy bench, then what you do is put down a cloth, and now it'll be quiet. And you can also do that under chopping boards, and that way then they don't move around. Okay, so you pour the warmed milk over your bread, skim milk of course. You know, the difference of full fat milk to skim milk is full fat's about 9-10 grams of fat per cup, and skim milk is 0.2. So stop it right now. We know which one we pick, because we want a healthy heart and we don't want to pack on the kilos over Christmas. All right, so you give that a good mix up so that it gets a bit mushy. There you go. And I'm just going to put that to the side while I prep some other things up and just give it time to absorb. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to mash up my bananas. Now, I'm not sure how many I need, but I'm going to do 3 because I need a cup. Don't you hate it when you do mashed banana and then you're like 1/4 cup out? So I'm going to guess that it's going to take probably 2.5, but let's just do the 3. Now, the riper the bananas, the better, because that means they'll be sweeter. Because I don't actually put sugar in the pudding. There's so many other things that will give it its natural sweetness, and such as the banana. Now, the banana really helps give it extra moisture, flavour and texture. And you don't really taste the banana, but I just think it really adds to the pudding. All right, so my banana is mashed. I'm going to measure it first to make sure I've got enough. So I might use this one again, and I need a cup. Let's see how we go. Hopefully it's a cup. You know what? That's just perfect. Oh, see, I want 3 bananas. Wow. Okay, let's put this in my sink, because you know I have my soapy sink ready. All right, so I've got my bread done. I've got my banana mashed, and the next thing I want to do is just melt the margarine so it's ready to go when I need it. So we're going to use the Floralite, and it says 3 tablespoons or 45 grams. And so what I've done is I've brought the scales to 0 with the glass on it, and so I'm just measuring 45. Easy done. There you go. So I'm going to put that in for 20 seconds. Awesome. So now my job is done. So let's move the bread out of the way. Where can I put that? All right. So let's get cooking. All right. So we've got our pudding all moist with the bread. All right. So now we add in the dried fruit. And I want 3 cups of mixed dried fruit, or 500 grams if you wanted to weigh it. Now, I like this particular brand here, and I just want to mention it to you, the Sunbeam, because it actually says on it with red glacé cherries. But when I looked in here, there's a bit of green and yellow going on as well. So mix it in. And I like that because some of the other brands don't put glacé cherries in anymore. So I think, well, it's Christmas pudding, people. We want some glacé cherries. Did you put some different ones in, Bill? Did you put different colours in? Oh my, he's just looking at me. He's added a couple of the green and the yellow, you cheeky thing. But it does look nice, doesn't it? Yeah, I get why you've done that. And I've actually, in the past, bought glacé cherries to put in with the fruit. But you know what? They're not the same as they used to be, are they? They used to be so vibrant and red, but of course now we don't do all this colouring thing anymore. So they're all natural, you know, and that hence colouring is not as bright. I suppose it's better for us, isn't it? Now, note that what I'm doing here is I'm just mixing it all together with the bread. So if you're frightened of making a pudding, stop, because it's so easy. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to add the spices, and that's 2 teaspoons of mixed spice. I'm going to add in the rum. Now you can do brandy if you want, but we like rum in ours, and I want half a cup. Now if you really didn't want to put alcohol in, which is a shame because that's what Christmas pudding is about, then you could just add half a cup of orange juice, but it really won't have that impact that we expect of the flavours of a Christmas pudding. Now, oh, wow. Woo! You should smell the brandy, the rum, I mean. I like rum in it. You know, it's, I don't know, I think it's a little bit more Christmas puddingy than brandy. Hey, do you remember when you were a kid and they'd put all the threepences in the pudding? Yeah, we don't do that anymore, do we? I think maybe we're worried about what the coins are made of these days, but also I think there was a few kids that choked a little bit from the coins. Oh, it used to be fun back in the day. All right, so now I'm going to put in 3 egg whites, and you want to just give that a good mix up. Oh my gosh, this smells, I'm already feeling like I want to sing a Christmas carol. It's so Christmas smelling. And, you know, you get such a good sized pudding, and when you bring it out, your family will just ooh and ah and think you are just so clever because you made your own Christmas pudding. I mean, I have never bothered to make the ones that you put in the bag and you hang for 3 months to develop with all the alcohol and everything in it. This is pretty instant. You could make this the day before Christmas if you really wanted to, it wouldn't matter. So you don't have to make it now, you can make it whenever you want, but you just have to keep it sealed up and in the fridge. Don't leave it out. All right, now I'm going to put the bicarb soda, mix it with the applesauce. You know that's my thing that I created back many years ago. So I want 3/4 of a teaspoon of bicarb, and I'm going to put that in with the applesauce, just a little jar of baby apple. Give that a good mix together. You don't want bits of bicarb in there, or it'll be fizzy in your mouth. And you'll see as I'm putting it in, you can see it starts frothing up. That's how it's meant to react. So you can see that there's a lot of moisture going in here. You know, you've got the applesauce, the banana, the margarine. There we go. Now you just mix that in again. Super moist mixture, isn't it? Look at that. Fantastic. Now in goes the mashed banana. See how it's just a matter, I prepped up a couple of things and we're just mixing in all this ingredient. Put that in the wash bowl. Yes. I love Christmas. I'm one of the biggest kids about Christmas, and we'll have our kids back from America for Christmas. They're coming home to live, my beautiful family in Boston. So I cannot wait. They arrive on the 22nd of December. Oh my God, busy, excited to have them back home, which is wonderful. It means I don't have to go to America anymore for the winter. Like, I mean, oh God, hated it. Yeah, too bloody cold. Gosh, yes. All right, so there's my margarine. That's melted. Pour that in. You know, there's nothing really technical to this, is it? It's just you've got to be a good stirrer. And I am really good at that. And I'm sure you are too. I'm so glad you're watching the show today. Now don't forget, this is the Christmas pudding out of book 2. 2.1 gram of fat. Doesn't go in the oven. It's a boiled pudding. That's all looking fantastic. Now I'm going to put in the Parisian essence. Now what this is you don't have to put it in if you want a light Christmas pudding, but I like a darker pudding, and so this is what you use. The Parisian essence, you get it where all the essences are, and it's a browning agent, browning essence, and you want a tablespoon. Now in the olden days, my mum used to do this after we had a roast, and she'd put some water in after the meat was taken out and there was all the fat in there, and she would add some of the browner, this Parisian essence, to make the gravy. Yeah, we don't do that anymore, and I think that's maybe why we're living longer. All right, so see how brown this has become? Let me just look at that. So it's much browner because of the, you could actually put even a bit more in if you wanted it really dark. It's up to you. Now the final thing that's got to go in is the flour. So we're going to put in 1.25 cups of plain flour. Don't put self-raising in, we don't want that. We don't want it to rise. It's a heavy pudding, as Christmas puddings are. I'm going to sift it because why not? And now pudding is done. I know. So, you know, when you think about it, was it hard? No. Super easy. Now we just fold in to our mix. I've never done it with gluten-free flour, but I reckon it'd work really well. I think, you know, for those that can't have flour, that might be a good option for you. Just mixing it through. Now, once the white powder has combined with the mix, that's when you stop. Do not get here and beat it because it'll make the pudding tough. The less you move it, the better. So I'm just making sure I've got all the white flour dissolved. And that tells me that it's mixed up and done. Awesome. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Oh, bring on Christmas. Yes, love it. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to pour it into the pudding tin. And I've got one here. Now, it's a 19 by 9 centimetre pudding tin, and you always need to have a lid. If you don't have a lid, you can then just use cloth or foil and just put an elastic band around it. Bill, do you reckon that'd work? Yeah, just in case if you don't have a lid. Now I'm going to spray it with some cooking spray. Please don't forget to do that because we don't want it being a disaster for Christmas. And now we're just going to pour the pudding in. You can see it makes quite a bit of mixture, but hello, it's for 16 people. I've had some left over because my kids aren't really big on Christmas pudding, but Bill loves it, and it freezes really well. So you could actually make this now and put it in the freezer as well if you wanted. Let me put that over in the sink. But you can leave it in the fridge as well. But if you have leftovers and everyone goes, I'm done with Christmas pudding, you know what? In 4 months' time, when you find it, this piece of pudding in the freezer, you're going to go, okay, get the custard out. I'm excited. All right, so I try and bring it a little bit away from the centre. And I actually spray the lid as well because I think it's a good idea. on there's the lid and you lock it in. That's locked in. Right, so now there's your pudding done. I'm sorry, was that hard? No. And so much nicer than a bought one, honestly, because I've cooked that with a lot of love. Because you know what? I love Christmas. So here's my boiler. And this is the trick. If you've never done a boiled pudding, this is the secret. So I've got my saucer. You turn it upside down so that this is what's at the top. Put it in the centre. Get your pudding. Put it on top. And now you boil your water. Oh. So you have boiling water. And go to the side. Don't sort of pour it all over the top if you can help it. Just go to the side and fill that up about 3/4 of the way up the edge of the dish, of the pudding dish. It's a steamer pudding as well. That's what they call it to me. You can get these in lots of kitchen shops. Kmart probably has them. Don't we love a bit of Kmart? All right, so that's filled up to 3/4. Then I'm going to put my lid on, put it on the stove, and I'm going to put that on high. And once it's boiled, I'm going to turn it down to a slow boil. Like on my stove, it's 12 is the high. And while I was boiling that yesterday, because I made another one yesterday for the show, I'll show it to you in a minute, I did it on about 6. So just to give you an idea of what a slow boil is. You're going to do it for about 3.5 hours. And then once the 3.5 hours is done, so pick it a day when you're at home and you don't have to worry. But I checked it and I filled it up twice with more hot water because with the boiling it does evaporate. Okay, so do you want to see what it looks like when it's finished? Can I just hear a hallelujah? Woohoo! Yeah! There it is, my gorgeous Christmas pudding out of book 2. And I've just put a little bit of fake holly, so the glacé cherries, and it's ready to serve. Now, if you wanted to flame it, what you could do is you could get some warm brandy or rum, depending, like I've used rum here, so I'd use rum. You warm it up and pour it over and then light it. It has to be warmed, you can't do it cold, and it will flame up and fabulous. So I would serve this as well with the low-fat custard. I like Peter's. And then also you could use some low-fat ice cream. The light and creamy is my favourite one from Peter's. You could also try the Dairy Whip, the light Dairy Whip, to have that with it as well. So there's the Christmas pudding. Imagine serving that Christmas Day. Fizzy fabulous. Now, next week's show, I'm going to stick with the Christmas ideas because we've only got a couple of shows to finish off the year, and I'm going to show you how to make gingerbread. I know, how fantastic. It's a really easy recipe. Don't be going buying them, you can make them yourself, and I'm going to do a bit of a Christmas theme with my little cutouts and make some stars and Christmas trees and whatever as well. So what a fantastic idea for gifts. You know, put a few in a little nice tin. I think you need to be here next week to see how to make gingerbread. Now, we've got to give a book away. What will it be, of course? Book 2. If you want to win and be able to make the Christmas pudding, if you don't have this cookbook, you can go to the newsagent, yes. But what you have to do is you have to like, you need to share, and then in the comments, you do hashtag simply with a number 2 good. Like, share, hashtag simply number 2 good. And please keep up your fabulous comments and let your friends know about the recipes, because we all need to be cooking healthy and fabulous. But who knew that weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? You can eat this and still lose weight over Christmas. How awesome is that? So next week, gingerbreads, catch you then. And don't forget, if you need any more support, go to simply toogood.com.au. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.